And we welcome you live here to Baker Complex, here on the campus of Columbia University in Upper Manhattan. We also want you with you on YouTube, the Coaches Corner NYC. This is W Soccer, Manhattan Soccer Club. In the red on red, they take on the Cedar Stars, which is a New Jersey-based club. They're in the white on white. Here's the traditions here. Fortunately, the Cedar Stars able to get here from New Jersey as they play it back to their keeper, Emma Hunsinger. And we'll go through our starters at the Soccer Club coming in with a goal scored and one allowed. They're 0, 1, and 1. And 2 games played as well for Cedar Stars. Lucy Gillette making the start, she's the head coach. And ball down in first at the goal for the goal. Cedar Stars here. Going to work on that at the half. We do know Emma Hunsinger is in goal for Cedar Stars. She's a graduate student, just finished up her career at Rutgers, where she was a backup goalie and will be grad transferring this coming fall down to Johns Hopkins. With our center referee, John Mitchell. Tossing comes for Cedar Stars as they look for a cross on the backside. Liza Katz, sophomore out of the city, the Dalton School. She'll be a sophomore at Amherst. Was there on the handle. Up top in a 4-3-3, Isabel Stern, who will be a senior as well at Amherst, with Liza Katz as the left forward. The right forward, Sophia Stellabot, who's also the captain. She plays at Case Western. Amanda Cruz will be the holding mid with Kiara Royer. The left back, Solange Sylvain. And here's a ball out wide for Stellabot. And a clearance. Gillette, as she comes off of her line. Lucy Gillette was a pro playing in the top league in England after finishing up her career playing here first originally in the U.S. at Hofstra University, recruited there by Simon Ridioff. And then she went to Springfield College in Massachusetts for a year and played a couple of years in that top league in England and has been a coach in the U.S. at Division I level, was the goalie coach at St. John's University for a few years before getting the job just about 3 months ago at LIU. Hunsinger. Into the 5th minute here. And we'll get the offsides flag. Lara Schenk, one center back, along with Kylie Thorpe, who is a high school class of 22 graduate, just a few weeks away from finishing up high school. Maeve Parmelee, the right back. The left back, Solange Sylvain. Center attacking mid, Gabriella DePico out of Harvard. I welcome you back here live on Coach's Corner NYC. It was able to get jersey numbers that correspond with Cedar Stars, so now we're ready to have a broadcast. Cedar Stars will come up with the clearance as they send that out. Cedar Stars having a number of high school players on their team, high school class of 22s, even several 23s that are dressed today. It's a deep organization that spans all over New Jersey. There's the left back, Kathleen Hennon. She's one of them. And she is a left back out of Rumson Fairhaven, high school class of 2024. Center back, Ariana Silva, just graduated out of DePaul Catholic. Will be playing down at St. Augustine, Florida, and Flagler College. This is a good ball here for the center mid, Jordan Ferraro. Out of Manalapan as she plays it across, and that ball chipped just wide. That's a good ball laid across. Jordan Ferraro, she's going to be a sophomore at Hartford coming up in the fall from Manalapan. Nice freshman year, 2 goals and 2 assists. And we'll have our first corner kick that Madison Krakauer will take. And Krakauer is another one of those examples. Krakauer is in the high school class of 23 and already a verbal commitment to Maryland. So she is up top at left forward. Krakauer enters in. Gillette, and Gillette bobbled it. Still loose outside the 6. And finally, Manhattan Soccer Club will come up with a brief clearance. Gabrielle Koluk will switch fields, center mid, another high school player at a Freehold High School that just finished up her high school career, now heading off to college, and we'll get a restart here as it's whistled down by John Mitchell, our center referee. So here's a good opportunity and a good spot for Madison Krakauer. So a high schooler that is factoring in significantly. There's pretty good Division I talent on this Cedar Stars team as we go. As Krakauer service in, and this time Gillette handles it cleanly. So as Lucy will distribute quickly. The right back, Maeve Parmalee, who will play at Bates College coming up, and she's a high school class of 22 as well, out of the Manhattan Soccer Club. We played 13 minutes, no score here, first half here at Columbia. Parmalee. And she'll slip it back. Center back, Lara Schenk. Schenk, a senior at Harvard. Coming over from Germany. And able to attack out wide. And we'll get a corner here, the first for the Manhattan Soccer Club. Fifteen-minute service and a short one that won't reach Hunsinger. And battle for the second ball, and it'll be a goal kick coming for Hunsinger. Hunsinger played just 3 career games, unfortunately, at Rutgers, and she was part of a stacked goaltending depth chart under Coach Mike O'Neill there, but she's out of Heightstown High School, just graduated with a degree in marine studies, and will be going off to grad school eventually, but is going to use her 5th and final year to play at Johns Hopkins, a Division III power. So this summer represents a strong tune-up for her. Hunsinger is from East Windsor, New Jersey. 3 total games just in last fall, played in 2 at Rutgers, but she's been a part of the Cedar Stars system for a long time, since high school. We played 17 minutes, and she's got a young defense in front of her. Mentioned Kathleen Hennon, who is the left back The right back is the very talented Sophia Mancino, who just transferred to Richmond after spending her freshman year at Penn State. She's from Holmdel. The center back, aforementioned Ariana Silva. And the other center back is Lauren Bruno, returning second-team All-MAC performer at Monmouth. Here comes a switch to the near side for Rania Senhaji. And the offside flag is up. Senhaji's going to start her junior season coming up at South Carolina. Gillette. Sylvain, as she slipped the nice ball nearly through for Kiara Royer. That's Kylie Thorpe. Thorpe will play at Colby College in the NESCAC. Many of these Manhattan Soccer Club players have come up through the system in the first year of the W League. For head coach Darren Marshall, Kylie came up playing for the Manhattan Soccer Club Charge program. And Thorpe from the city. The holding him in, Amanda Cruz, same also from the Manhattan Soccer Club. So is Solange Sylvain. So a lot of players that Darren Marshall telling me he's probably known for some of them close to 10 years. Parmalee, as Parmalee looked to connect up the right side, and an opportunity now for Manhattan to possess. And a nice job defending there by Aubrey Silverman, starting right forward of the 4-3-3. Both coaches out of a 4-3-3 alignment to start. Gillette. And down the middle, Isabel Stern. Look how far back Stern, the center forward, checks back. And Isabel had the goal against Queensborough last time out. Last week, the 25th, at Queensborough, scoring in the 86th minute with Manhattan down a player. After Darren Marshall had used all of his subs, the team suffered an injury in about the 75th minute and had to play with 10 and still found a way to squeeze out a point. Here's Parmalee, and Parmalee is stood up. Fine defending by the center mid, Juliana Raffanello. Plays at UMBC. Bruno will look for a switch. No score here in the first half. We've played nearly 20 minutes. And it'll be the throw for Sophia Stellabot. Sophia last year at Case Western playing in the UAA. Good season. 20 games played, 9 starts at forward, scored 3 goals. And she's out of Trinity High School in the city. Thorpe stepping there. And it'll be sprayed back to Laura Schenk. So that is Solange Sylvain on the far side of the field. She'll be a student at Stanford coming up. Won't play, just graduated from the Dalton School. That's Liza Katz, who switched here to the right side. Liza also to the Dalton School. She'll be a sophomore in Amherst coming up in the fall. Strong freshman year for Liza, 2 goals and 6 assists. Coming up through the Manhattan Soccer Club, she even became the managing sports editor for the Amherst student paper, as Amherst has always had a good year, a good program in the NESCAC. Solange, ball ahead, and she had a runner. And that was a good thought from Solange Sylvain. She had a runner, Gabriela Del Pico. So Hunsinger with a shade under 24 minutes left first half. Cedar Stars players able to get here despite heavy traffic after we experienced a thunderstorm and a lot of rain from about 3:30 until for about an hour and a half or so until about 5. Fortunately, this is a nice turf field, so we won't see it being impacted. Hennon came over for the clearance. Katz to try to attack. And Katz well defended by the high schooler Kathleen Hennon. And Hennon, the trust to go back to Hunsinger. Manhattan looking to keep, then they send it in. It's only a floater that is handled by Hunsinger. So Gabriela Del Pico able to just pop that in the air. Manhattan able to mount a little bit more pressure. Senhaji. And some space to operate now for Cedar Stars. As they come out wide, as they look to spray the ball ahead. And that's too far out of the reach. That was Madison Krakauer with the good idea on the pass. And Gillette will have the goal kick. Hitting exactly 22 minutes left. First half tonight. As Stern tried to turn and face Parmalee, the hard step. And a nice job by Maeve Parmalee there to break it up. Coming all the way from her right back spot and to beat Senhaji, the forward, to try to check back. The W League rules are closer to the pro level. It is a total of 7 substitutions. Both clubs have 18 dressed. Or at least that's the maximum within their deep rosters. And, of course, over the summer, when you have collegians, you just never know who can make it, who cannot. There's a lot of moving parts within it, as we'll get Hunsinger with another goal kick. But it's 7 subs. A halftime substitution does not count. And there is no re-entry the way you would have it in high school or college. So the coaches are much more involved in terms of the decision-making compared to college, where you can sub out in the first half, re-enter in the second, and sub out again. Long ball ahead, Solange chasing, and then Solange with a partial breakup. Sophia Mancino, the right back, sprays it across, and somehow it stayed out. Mancino, a fine delivery, who made the long run from her right back spot. Next ball, Gabrielle Koluk. And Koluk can only lob it in. And Gillette has no problem with it. Best scoring chance so far tonight here at Columbia. And that opportunity was for Aubrey Silverman, who had that shot. All she needed was something on frame. But what a ball delivered by Sophia Mancino. Mancino only played in 2 games last year at Penn State on a deep team, transferring to Richmond over the winter. But she was first-team All-State in the abbreviated 2020 high school season out of one of the many Central Jersey high school soccer powers, Holmdel. Parmalee. Cats. As the ball played in, Bruno made the read. Cats will keep it. Played it in for Del Pico. Lauren Bruno bottled up. And we'll get the foul. That'll be against Bruno. And here comes a quality restart for Manhattan. 19 minutes left, first half. So Cats with a nice overlapping run and then kept up the pressure. Eliza Katz will have the delivery. She took a lot of restarts, I bet. Last fall at Amherst, 2 goals and 6 assists. Came up through the Manhattan Soccer Club's Galaxy team. Katz delivers a good ball, did not have a runner. Del Pico on the head ball, and it's parried out by Hunsinger. Emma Hunsinger at 5'10", played 4 years of basketball at Heightstown High School. That came in necessary there. Best scoring opportunity for Manhattan here. Liza Katz will come up with Manhattan's second corner. Katz a little bit further outside the 6. And that ball just laid at the feet of Isabel Stern momentarily. Parmalee to step up. And eventually Silverman out of a crowd came up with it. And Aubrey Silverman. Silverman still leaned on and finally looking for an outlet. And has the left back Hennon. A foul committed by Manhattan. A strong turn and good positioning by the left forward Madison Krakow. Lauren Bruno. Bruno, not just second team All-MAC, had 2 goals, 2 assists for Monmouth. She's out of Manalapan High School and delivers a nice ball. Jordan Ferraro was making the run, but Ferraro was offside. Not a bad delivery from that kind of distance for Lauren Bruno. Bruno, a second-generation Monmouth Hawk, with mom also having played for the program. Stern checks back, and here comes Manhattan. Nearing 16 minutes remaining, and no one else was making the run, so it's only Hunsinger. Krakauer. And Hennon joins the play. Kathleen Hennon to attack Parmalee. And Hennon, nice touch, then turns. She had more time than she expected and did not have a runner into the path. Chance for Manhattan to transition. Liza Katz with Stern out of the middle, and she tried to go with a through ball down the middle, and it's great range shown by the center back that time, Ariana Silva. Last 3 years, DePaul Catholic winning the non-public B championship. And Silva, a big part of that. Their goalie is headed to St. John's. Silva was a starting center back all 4 years there. And some good movement by Mancino, the right back. And here's the push from Ferraro. Ferraro able to lay it forward. Opportunity for Silverman. Aubrey Silverman will settle. Krakauer settles. Krakauer then shoots. And that's in. Madison Krakauer, a high school junior, showing terrific composure. She's got the goal here. It comes in the 30th minute. 1-0. Patience shown there, too, from Aubrey Silverman, just at the top of the 18. And Krakauer is impressed here in the first half. So Manhattan finds themselves trailing again. In game one, they fell at AC Connecticut Saturday the 21st, 2-0. Two mistakes in the defensive third for a collection of very young players playing their first game. That's what led to the goals. Darren Marshall happy with the way his team was very resilient last week at Queensboro over at Aviator Field in Brooklyn, where they fell behind and playing down a player, able to somehow come up with a very gritty goal and come away with the tie. Isabel Stern had the goal. Ball played ahead for Ferraro. From the center mid, Juliana Raffanello. Then a next ball coming. The stop was made by Gillette, and then it's cleared off the line, just away from the line by Parmalee. So 13 minutes remaining, and another good look. Second corner coming for Cedar Stars. And Krakauer will have the service. Gillette able to catch. Had a great conversation with Lucy Gillette about her vision at LIU. They're going to be installing at some point a new turf field kind of on the side. That'll certainly help her team and her program in terms of having more camps and clinics year-round, particularly in the winter, to get out there when the weather is occasionally compliant. Parmalee continued to make the long run, and now an opportunity as Kolek tried to transition ahead, and Kolek tried to combine with Krakauer, and it'll go back to the feet of Gillette. Another 12 minutes left, first half. Goal in the 30th minute, Madison Krakauer from Aubrey Silverman. Hear the story for Cedar Stars. Del Pico. Royer with Stern running down the middle. And Isabel Stern will collect the next ball. And then Stella Bott trying to shoot from outside the 20, was blocked. Sophia Mancino. And that ball did cross the end line. The W League in its first season, a pre-professional women's league, considered to be the second division now of women's soccer in the U.S., below the NWSL. That's the dream of this league. 44 teams across 20 states here in the Metropolitan Division. Well-known clubs like the Long Island Rough Riders having teams too. The formerly known Gotham Reserves having a team of the NWSL, now known more as Downtown United. Here's a takeaway by Del Pico. To the feet of Cruz. Ferraro. And a throw coming here in the 35th minute. Senhaji. Koluk sending out Ferraro. And the breakup by Solange Sylvain. Sophia Stellabot. And before the recovery came from the right back Mancino. In the path of Katz, Liza Katz getting goal line extended, and Katz testing the hands of Hunsinger, and Hunsinger forced to make the save. So Liza Katz realized she had no angle, and let's just test the hands of Emma Hunsinger. She's able to collect the corner, so the third of the night for Manhattan. Ball delivered in, and it's in. Hunsinger did not come out far enough. Sophia Stellabot was there inside the 6, and we are level at 1. Stellabot, who will be a sophomore at Case Western in Ohio, scored 3 goals in the fall. She evened things up here in the 36th minute. And Stellabot wearing the captain's armband in this game for Manhattan. Fine delivery off the corner. It wasn't too high, and it had just enough pace on it to get over kind of the first couple of defenders. Hunsinger was not able to come out and catch. And as you'll find sometimes in these college summer leagues, the organization defensively, the communication at times may not be there. And the center backs in that case, no one really took over and won the first ball for Cedar Stars. So it's 1-1. Sophia Stellabot out of the city and Trinity High School, 4 years there on the varsity. And she won a private school championship in the Nice Ace back as a sophomore. Darren Marshall, the head coach of Manhattan Soccer Club, was her coach for the Manhattan SC Charge when she was growing up through high school at the club scene. That was a ball out of the reach of Maeve Parmalee. As we near 6.5 left in this opening half. Senhaji turns it over. Del Pico. Forced back by Gabrielle Koluk. And then Koluk with that final touch at wide for Mancino, and a chance to transition ahead now. Jordan Ferraro. Lauren Bruno, as she went wide for Mancino. And Manhattan pressing up a little bit more. Cedar Stars have not been as comfortable on the ball as they were during an earlier segment. So we will hit the 40th minute, first half. Toss in for Gabrielle Koluk. Bruno under pressure of Stern, and Hunsinger has to bail her out. Well, Isabel Stern there looking to poach. And that is where, again, especially in the summer, communication that the players with a handful of practices under their belts just may not have, especially this early juncture of the summer season. Mancino in the next ball. Hunsinger redshirted her true freshman year at Rutgers and missed another due to the pandemic, so I only ended up playing 2 years at Rutgers, 3 total games. Silverman chases. Lucy Gillette. And Gillette, as she tried to play it short to her center back, and she'll wind up with a goal kick. Both teams have just one goalie, so we'll see Gillette and Hunsinger, the two most experienced players on the field today, and they'll both play the second halves, barring any injury. Stern again checking back nicely. Stellabot trying to play Solange, her left back. Mancino recovers. And Mancino with the touch out. At a collision as Ferraro banged into Sylvain. And Jordan Ferraro shaken up for a moment. Senhaji finds herself with room. Koluk, nice ball slipped in. Senhaji didn't realize the room she had in front of her. And across both rosters, there are plenty of players that have a former club teammate or two on each side. Manalapan High School well represented on the Cedar Stars, a handful of college teammates, and of course club teammates. So there is some built-in chemistry between these sides, but only in kind of portions of the roster. That ball drilled over the top, and Gillette coming out gets to it. That ball nearly sprung Madison Krakauer. Krakauer started the match considered as the left forward. She has played much more centrally. Silva back for Hunsinger. Bruno down the middle, headed down by Amanda Cruz. Space for Stellabot. Katz. And Katz received in an offsides position. We are unofficially inside the final minute, 45th minute tonight at Rocco B. Comiso Soccer Stadium. Famed soccer alum, first ever captain to go to the NCAA tournament while at Columbia, former owner of the New York Cosmos, and current owner of Serie A's Fiorentina. This is the Baker Sports Complex here on the campus of Columbia in Upper Manhattan. And tonight, filling in as a home game here for the Manhattan Soccer Club in the W League, where they'll primarily play their games at the College of Staten Island. Ball delivered over the top, and that's it for the first half. Score tied at 1, Madison Krakauer in the 30th minute from Aubrey Silverman, and then on a rebound off of a corner 6 minutes later, Sophia Stellabot got us level at 1. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on Coach's Corner NYC with the second half from W League action. And we welcome you back live on Coach's Corner NYC via YouTube and later on tonight on demand via 11 Sports TV. Ralph Benarchik on hand. W League action tonight from Columbia's Rocco Camiso Stadium. Manhattan Soccer Club and Cedar Stars tied at 1. Second half about to start. Goals in the 30th minute and 36th minute. The answer from Manhattan's Sophia Stellabot on a rebound off of a cross. We'll check on any subs with the second half getting going here. Second half with Cedar Stars on the white on white, red on black for Manhattan Soccer Club. And our referee, John Mitchell, will blow the whistle dead against Jordan Ferraro of Cedar Stars. And for Darren Marshall's team for Manhattan, I imagine among the conversations was defensive and communication with his veteran keeper, Lucy Gillette, to communicate with a very young defense. A high school senior in Maeve Parmalee, the right back. Solange Sylvain, another high school senior, being the left back. High school senior center back. And Kylie Thorpe. The veteran is a senior at Harvard, and Laura Schenk. Here on the approach, Gillette is able to make the save on Aubrey Silverman. So Silverman made a strong run and got a good shot off with the left foot, and it'll be an early corner for Cedar Stars. Well, the three forwards that started the match, Senhaji at center forward, Silverman on the right, and Madison Krakauer on the left, and they have all been a handful. Corner delivered. Gillette gets her hands on it and eventually knocked out. Gabrielle Koluch looking to win the second ball. Nearly did cleanly before the play broken up. Koluch on the next ball delivered in. And finally settled by Kiara Royer. And for Stern, and here comes Manhattan. And Stern will bang that out off the body of her teammate Amanda Cruz, who is shaken up. Sylvain. Liza Katz trying to play through Stellabot, and Sophia Stellabot able to attack. Waits and gets some more support from Isabel Stern before Stern with a heavy first touch. Transition by Juliana Raffanello out wide. That's Senhaji. Slips a good ball through again, and well defended. Sliding out is Gillette. That is strong defending, though, by Lara Schenk, who was running step for step with Aubrey Silverman. Let's see what the whistle is about from John Mitchell. And Gillette will quickly distribute after the drop ball. So we've played 3 minutes, second half. Manhattan Soccer Club looking for their first win as a member of the W League. Cedar Stars also looking for their first win, 0-2. Hunsiger will distribute short. And up the line, Senhaji. Another long ball, Silverman. And with Schenk defending, Silverman will take her and then play a nice ball to the top of the box, but she did not have a runner. Stellabot. And Stellabot looking to play the ball through. She had Isabella Stern making a diagonal run. And the transition opportunity of the way for Raffanello. And Raffanello nearly had Krakauer down the middle. So the game stretching just a little bit more early second half. Thorpe able to make the connection. Sylvain for Cats and stepped in too hard by the center back, Lauren Bruno. Parmley to the wide side of the field. A step by Schenk. Stern. She nearly delivered a saucered ball that Bruno got in the way of. And that's a nice ball delivered by Kathleen Hennon to left back. Silverman attacking far, getting the shot off, and it just trickles wide. Lucy Gillette got her left hand on it, and two great scoring chances early going second half for Cedar Stars. Sprung by the nice delivery by the high school sophomore left back and Kathleen Hennon out of Rumson Fairhaven High School down on the Jersey Shore. And that was Madison Krakauer rather than Silverman that had the chance. Krakauer delivery. And the edge of the 18, Krakauer, second ball in. Senhaji that's Silverman in the air with Senhaji in the vicinity, and she puts it over the bar. And this is off of the feet of Sylvain. So a defensive error. Toss in deep coming now for the Cedar Stars as they keep up the tempo. As Mancino entered in, looking for Silverman. Royer able to push a ball ahead and transition for Manhattan. That's Nyla Frazier, just came on as a sub and playing kind of in the right forward spot out of Manhattan's Hunter Science High School, class of 2021. And she's a sophomore student at Villanova, majoring in nursing, not playing college, and playing here over the summer. She has grown up within the Manhattan Soccer Club. Krakauer again has Silverman looking to make the run, and Krakauer didn't quite release the pass before it's taken over by Kiara Royer, and Royer nearly had and was on the same page with Nyla Frazier. Manhattan basically had 5 practices before their season opener before they all got together and traveled out to Connecticut at AC Connecticut. They have about 9 players that are really going to play basically every game. And in this first year for Darren Marshall, as he described it, kind of the month of May and the 2 months before that was chaotic. Just registering players, seeing who is going to be able to commit to as much of the full season as possible. And that is the tough thing with these college summer leagues, where there's a lot of moving parts, players having academic opportunities, internships, family things. Ball ahead for Ferraro. And Solange Sylvain does well on the box out of Ferraro. Out of the middle, Royer was stepped into. Cats releasing for Frazier. Lays a nice ball ahead for Stern, but it's offside. Isabel Stern out of the Brearley School in the city. So the stoppage here in the 54th minute. Game tied at 1. Madison Krakauer in the first minute from Silverman. And then in the first half, the answer in the 36th minute, unassisted, Sophia Stellabot for Manhattan. Krakauer, nice ball dubbing through. Here comes Sophia Mancino. Mancino for Ferraro, who stayed onside, then plays it to the back post, making the run. Gillette able to keep it out, but then the offside flag up. You could see how Ferraro lined up that pass and wanted to deliver it, I think, even a little sooner, but Silverman was just not close enough to make enough of of a play on that. So Frazier stepped into and eventually briefly turned it over. Again, Kathleen Hennon stepping very high up the field. And that'll be a foul against Manhattan. So a restart coming, and Lauren Bruno, she has handled the deep restarts. And they'll get the other center back and Ariana Silva into the mix. Bruno delivers. Ball chipped in. That's it. Krakauer for the second time. Well, Bruno's delivery in the first half from distance was a pretty good one that narrowly missed. And Lauren Bruno again puts it in a fine spot. And then Krakauer showing fantastic touch. It is 2-1 in the 56th minute for Cedar Stars. Bruno on the assist. She had 2 assists back in the fall at Monmouth. And Madison Krakauer playing above her years. A high school class of 2024, or rather 2023, that is already committed to Maryland. Down the middle, Raffanello, Ferraro, and Ferraro turned the wrong way. Pushed the other way for Stellabot. Katz. And Katz megged it through. Then from the outside, that's Stellabot shooting, and no problem there for Hunsinger on the shot from nearly 40 yards. Cedar Stars back in front. Thorpe, and again, Sylvain has gotten very good width at left back. Manhattan has not been able to use the width of the field on the left side much yet. Meanwhile, we've seen the right back, the terrific Sophia Mancino, get up the field a couple of times for Cedar Stars, and the left back, and Kathleen Hennon has been impressive with the way she's been able to pass out of her left back spot. Stellabot. And that's out of the range of Liza Katz. Cruz out of St. Vincent Ferrer High School. And she'll be down in Philadelphia at Bryn Mawr College. Sinhaji. Ferraro laying it down for Krakauer and beaten to it by Stellabot on the first touch. And a good job by Kylie Thorpe to release here out wide for Sylvain. Mancino the breakup. And now Sophia Mancino with room in front of her to try to attack. Krakauer has Silverman with an eye on her. And then Krakauer was thinking about where to place the ball for Silverman. Hennon quickly stepping into Frazier of Manhattan, and it'll be a Cedar Stars throw. 59th minute tonight at Columbia. Cedar Stars leading Manhattan Soccer Club 2-1 in W League action. Gabrielle Koluch. Now Frazier trying to release Stern forward, step for step with her, Lauren Bruno. And Bruno, good composure to go back to Hunsinger. Cedar Stars spent a long time in the locker room. They didn't come out until probably a minute before the second half began. Both teams went inside to their respective locker rooms. A lot of times over the summer, sometimes the half times will be shorter, depending on the facility. Usually they'll just kind of hang out outside. In this case, they had a chance to go inside and perhaps have a very gathered talk to get on the same page. We'll get our first substitutions. Heading off, Sophia Mancino and Juliana Raffanello. So Raffanello out of center mid. Mancino, the right back, exiting for Cedar Stars. And 2 subs on for Manhattan. So Darren Marshall has made his 2 subs. Remember, the halftime substitute of Nyla Frazier does not count towards the number of 7. And I see Ellery Winkler on for the first time. And she comes in one of the center mid spots for Manhattan. And the other substitute is one of the wide forwards in Izzy Green. And here's a ball played ahead beautifully out wide here for Cedar Stars, and then taking the shot in well short. That's Aria Hicks, who's a high school junior, a commitment to George Mason, that just came in at right back. And they say there was a touch on Liza Katz, and Liza disagrees. So this will be a corner. Well, Gillette now arguing. It will be granted as a corner for Cedar Stars. Krakauer again will have this service. And again, if you were with me earlier, you get the 7 substitutes. There is no re-entry, as it would be in high school or college. Krakauer. 63rd minute. As this one bounces to the 6. It's loose, and it's put in. Aria Hicks, who had just come in a minute ago, has a goal here at the pre-pro level over the summer. It's 3-1. In the 63rd minute, Hicks simply finds some loose change. Again, Krakauer put it in a good spot just outside to the penalty spot. And it fell nicely for Aria Hicks. The initial ball was kind of pushed forward by Lauren Bruno, I think. And it'll be Ariana Silva on the assist, the original intended target. So that terrific ball that sprung Aria Hicks forward. And remember the point of contention Liza Katz had, saying that she did not touch that attempted cross, that it was just short for Hicks. And in turn, it results in a corner. Cedar Stars capitalizes. Parmalee to the feet of Amanda Cruz. Cedar Stars having just 16 players with them today. No backup goalie. So their coaching staff today with Andrew Gialombardo and Greg Wiebolt, who are both here today. They're making the decisions. So they still have a total of 3 players that they can utilize off the bench. And the second substitute that came on 2 minutes ago is Bailey Chant, who is a senior forward out of NJIT, out of Boonton, New Jersey. She had a solid season for the Highlanders this year, who made pretty good strides playing in the America East Conference. And an outstanding new field and the facility that surrounds the NJIT field. NJIT has invested a lot of money in a new basketball arena, and the soccer field is looking terrific. I had a chance to see it last season. Cruz, heavy first touch, turned over. Silverman stepping around. Thorpe. Then Aubrey Silverman releases the shot with the left foot, and Gillette having to make another sprawling save. Well, Kylie Thorpe seeing what high-level Division I soccer could look like as Aubrey Silverman was able to attack her one-on-one, and Thorpe found herself a bit off balance. And it'll be another corner for Cedar Stars. This time it'll be Jordan Ferraro on the service. As we'll get into the 67th minute tonight. 3-1 Cedar Stars. Ferraro high and towards the back post, and Gillette squeezing. And Gillette trying to push tempo, releasing ahead for Liza Katz. Katz has Stern, lays it ahead, or rather that's her teammate Izzy Green, and just too far ahead. Green was trying to stay on side, watching the closest center back to her. As here comes Cedar Stars. And on a return, Kathleen Hennon. And Hennon making the long run. Hennon then had it broken up, and that's Parmalee. And those are two high school-aged outside backs that have shown well tonight. This is Nyla Frazier, so Frazier has moved in to be the left back after Solange Sylvain was subbed out. Stern, Katz, and Katz. Hicks looking to connect with the feet of Ferraro. Darren Marshall of Manhattan SC has a substitute waiting to come in next opportunity, and they're going to do that now. So the night is over for Isabel Stern, having gone 69 minutes playing center forward. And Liza Katz will now move to the middle, and we'll see how things will get moved around. Schenk. And Schenk with a deep ball, but Hunsinger able to read things in front of her. Intended for Ellery Winkler. New sub on is Anna Griffin. Back up forward, 31 in red for Manhattan SC. Anna's just finishing up high school right now at Packer Collegiate in Brooklyn Heights. And she will be playing at Tufts. Anna's come up through the Manhattan SC Stars program. She would have been a 4-year starter at Packer Collegiate before the pandemic interrupted her career. So Griffin enters in. Cedar Stars with 2 goals, 7 minutes apart, second half. Thorpe. And Thorpe tried to go long and perhaps find Green. Nice touch out of the middle for Cedar Stars and Bailey Chant. Out wide, it's Krakauer. Then with a left foot. And Gillette did not come out too far and reading the ball in front of her. Hicks stopping the goal kick. Possession for Manhattan. Stellabot to the feet of Griffin. Koluk lays it in. Silverman, though, offside. 71st minute, and here come the final 3 substitutes for Cedar Stars. And they're going to pull one of their starting forwards. Night is done for Rania Senhaji. So is Jordan Ferraro, as 2 that are done for the night. And also check on who that 3rd player out is. But that is all as they try to go to the finish line here and protect this 3-1 lead. Into the match for the first time, Abigail Najdimovic, who plays at George Mason. That's Green. Najdimovic able to win the next ball. And ball sent in and intended for Silverman, and she could not reach it. The other substitute is a high school junior, Catherine Slott. Slott is a left-footed player who can play up top. And the 3rd sub on was Angela Mano, who attends Bayonne High School. And she is a high school junior, class of 23. Griffin. As this ball whipped across the box, will it settle? It does. Hunsinger comes out, and it's a 3-2 game. Ball was whipped in. A long ball that was whipped in from distance. And Manhattan SC is within 1 at 3-2. So in the 74th minute, and what a delivery it was to Izzy Green, who was able to finish it. And the ball was delivered in by Kylie Thorpe. And this is a ball centered in that's handled by Frazier for the deflection out. And Anna Griffin the other way. Thorpe with a very sharp cross that bounced all the way to the far post where Izzy Green was waiting for it. And Izzy able to slide it home. So it's a new game with plenty of time left as we're into the 75th minute. Schenk had the step. She's shaken up. Silverman comes the other way. It's onside. Gillette retreating. Aubrey Silverman buries it. And it's a 4-2 game. Just a minute later, Silverman was able to trot into the 18. Lara Schenk, who took a hard step, near midfield, and Schenk could not get up and recover. She was shaken up and just now kind of getting back to her feet. And talking to the official, John Mitchell, right now. And certainly frustrated. Aubrey Silverman able to carry it forward and have a nice walk for 15 yards before she promptly, with nice precision, bangs it off the post and in. So the group of forwards tonight for Cedar Stars and the attacking group specifically have all impressed. As the pressure continues to be applied by Najdinovic. Koluk with Silverman trying to stay onside. And there's the flag. And Silverman was in an onside position. If she just froze, she would have been in good shape. 76 minute. 4-2 Cedar Stars. Looking to win the club's first game at the W League level. And they have long represented at the WPSL level. As Krakauer, Koluk, back onside. No, Krakauer with that ball escaping from her. Hunsiger will take her time as Parmalee is trying to apply some pressure to her. Koluk has played the full match in a holding mid spot. Hicks. Krakauer. Bruno. And good switch onside. It is Silverman again. Silverman stepping around defenders. Will settle it. Then takes the shot and has her second. It is onside, and Aubrey Silverman just looking like she is in practice. 5-2 Cedar Stars. This one coming in the 78th minute. So she's got a pair of goals 3 minutes apart. Only question was maybe if there could be an offside ahead of the play. Catherine Slott, number 2 in white, was just trying to stay out of the way of Aubrey. And Aubrey then lined up the shot, and she froze Lucy Gillette from right about the penalty area. Now, the Cedar Stars in transition, and particularly in any open space, are showing that they're going to be a handful in the W League if you allow them to be comfortable on the ball and get through ball's head. Koluk. Transition the other way by Winkler. As Katz tried to redirect it ahead. This is a ball intended for Angela Mano, but swept away by Frazier. For Manhattan, Liza Katz. Anna Griffin onto the end of it. Griffin has support, Stellabot. Sophia Stellabot into the 18, got the shot off, blocked. Cruz will spray it further out wide. Kylie Thorpe, beg your pardon. Next ball in as Bruno will prevent it from reaching a Manhattan player. Into the 80th minute, 5-2 Cedar Stars. Cruz trying to play Griffin in. Ariana Silva. Hunsiger keeps it on the ground. It'll be a throw coming in the offensive third for Manhattan. Both coaches have used everyone available. Thorpe. Izzy Green. As Green played it in. Thorpe able to win this, then sends it in and nearly headed forward. And that was the right back, Maeve Parmalee, who was well up the field in the 18, had a chance at a head ball. Darren Marshall trying to organize his team's high press forward. And actually looks like we'll have a substitution as Maeve Parmalee will head off. And this looks actually, it's Solange Sylvain coming back on. Or check that, who is that? Frazier got a great pass, then the shot, and Hunsinger making the save. What a nice ball by Ellery Winkler. Corner coming up for Manhattan, 82nd minute. So a late sub, someone must have arrived late, not on the roster for Manhattan. Off the corner, Nyla Frazier chases. And won't be able to get to it. So the new sub is in at left back after Parmalee played 80 minutes, primarily at right back tonight. That was Lara Schenk in the air. Room for Stellabot. Griffin. Griffin able to recover. Stellabot. And the new sub, Layla Farmer, back up outside back. That came on here, 81st minute for Manhattan. Stellabot to keep possession for Amanda Cruz. Frazier, and a good step there by Kathleen Hennon. Well, Hennon looks ready to play left back at the college level already. Delivery for Izzy Green. Got out of the way for Stellabot. Griffin back into the 18. And Cedar Stars have kept up their marks well second half with a series of crosses from Manhattan. And now in transition, the chase for Kathleen Slott. As Slott gets there, Slott played it across. Opportunity, Mayno off the post and in. Angela Mayno, after the work was done on the far side by the left-footed Catherine Slott. 6-2 Cedar Stars. So Mayno, a high schooler out of Bayonne, New Jersey, gets one here in the W League in the 84th minute. Slott with that long cross doing the work and the delivery, but certainly credit Cedar Stars for their work defensively. And during that last sequence, able to sweep the ball away on numerous occasions and prevent much danger or traffic in front of Emma Hensinger. Silverman looking for a third. Then takes the shot and rips it over the top, perhaps parried over the bar by Gillette. And the official agrees. Well, Aubrey Silverman just having fun out there. This will take us into the 86th minute. And the Cedar Stars putting on the finishing touches of an impressive second half. They led 1-0 on a Madison Krakauer goal from Aubrey Silverman, but Manhattan was able to respond 6 minutes later off of a corner kick. Sophia Stellabot was able to put in a loose ball just inside the penalty area, so we were level at 1 at half. But then Madison Krakauer got her second off of a restart delivered from, I'd say, a good 40 yards from Lauren Bruno in the 56th. And then Aria Hicks got a terrific cross on a feed from Ariana Silva 7 minutes later to make it 3-1. Cedar Stars were to get a goal 11 minutes later, 74th minute from Izzy Green, with Kylie Thorpe delivering a nice cross. As this is Gillette up with it. But since it was 3-2 just a minute later, Aubrey Silverman was able to walk the ball, in essence, through the 18 after Lara Schenk had stepped up in midfield and didn't win the duel. And at that point, at 4-2, Cedar Stars have not looked back. Silverman would add a second goal in the 78th to make it 5-2, and then moments ago, Angela Mano in the 84th. Frazier. And good work there by Manhattan in the corner. Frazier in the 18. Delivers inside. Ellery Winkler. And then we'll get the whistle and the foul. So as we wind down in the 88th minute, Manhattan will look to another night for their first win. Saturday, they'll host FA Euro of New York at the College of Staten Island. That's going to be the predominant home location of the Manhattan Soccer Club, both men's and women's teams in USL League Two. And then after that, they'll get a second look at AC Connecticut next Wednesday, the 8th. Silverman delivers a cross, and she had Mano in the air. Follow up by Abigail Nijanovic. Plays it in, and a little deflection by Mano. And just outside the post, Lucy Gillette forced to handle. Silva tried to play it back for Emma Hunsinger. As Hennon carries ahead. Stellabot trying to play in Griffin. Hicks, as Hicks able to just bump Anna Griffin off of her path and allows Hunsinger to cover as we've hit the 90th minute. The official time being kept by our center referee, John Mitchell, tonight. As Farmer connecting wide with Frazier. And certainly for Darren Marshall moving forward, He's got a young back line that is going to see some real talented players. Long Island Rough Riders in particular coming up. That'll be a road game at Mitchell Complex down in Uniondale Wednesday the 15th. Morris Elite, who's already played 3 games, and that's also a factor as the teams even that have one more game under their belts can feel like they're so much more further advanced in these college seasons that are squeezed into 6 weeks. There's a shot off the hands of Gillette, and Lucy wasn't able to squeeze it, and that's Catherine Slot taking the shot. So we'll have a corner here and perhaps the final play, as we are, at least unofficially by my count, into any injury time. As John Mitchell looking around, I think he's going to allow this to go. And then that'll be all. So Bailey Chant will have one more corner. Cedar Stars, 6-2 here in stoppage time. Gillette will handle. And as she drives it deep, but that is out of the range of her teammates. And trying to get onto it was Izzy Green, and that is it. Cedar Stars, an impressive second half. Aubrey Silverman in particular, the whole attacking group of Cedar Stars tonight, as they found themselves consistently in some open field and were able to finish. Silverman with 2 goals and an assist. Madison Krakauer, also spectacular. She had 2 goals. Manhattan Soccer Club getting goals from Sophia Stellabat and Izzy Green with an assist tonight from Kylie Thorpe. 6-2 is the final. That's a wrap tonight from the Baker Sports Complex on the campus of Columbia and Rocco Camiso Stadium. 6-2, Cedar Stars in full time tonight over at Manhattan Soccer Club. Thank you for watching on Coach's Corner NYC via 11 Sports. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Ray. See you next time.